Good morning, Philadelphia. I am the host of Tiffany's Community Spotlight, Tiffany DuBois-Morales. On today's show, I have the lovely actor, director, and arts
Educator.
educator, Jean Ngo. Say hi.
Hello. Thanks for having me, Tiffany.
Absolutely. So for my varying lovers of arts and culture, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I am a Philadelphia local theater actress, and I'm also a director. I also teach acting and directing. And yeah, the city is great. It's got a phenomenal art scene. So I'm able to dance around between these different ways of practicing my creative craft. And I know you love the arts, so I'm really happy to come on here and talk about things that are coming up for the season, things that we're both looking forward to.
Absolutely. All right, so let's start with what are some projects that you are working on right now?
Well, I've got a couple things that are starting. Next week, I go into rehearsal with Delaware Theater Company, which is in Wilmington. We're doing a really funny play. It's called Noises Off, which is like a famous play. There's a lot of things that go wrong in the play. It's a big British comedy. And
Fantastic.
yeah. So I'm really excited about that. And it's got a great director, Jen Childs, who's a good friend. She runs 1812 Productions, which is an all-comedy theater company in Philadelphia. And I've done a few shows with that company. So it's really exciting to kind of have artists that I know working and collaborating on this project coming up.
That's awesome. Is there a timeline for when people would be able to get tickets or to see the show?
Yeah, so Noises Off. Again, it's going on at Delaware Theater Company. You can hop on their website and get tickets anytime. We start rehearsal next week, and I think we open the third weekend of September, and we run through October 8th. So we've got a nice 3-week run. It's a great way to start the fall with a lot of laughs. And the waterfront's beautiful out there. So it's like one of those places where, if you go out to dinner and sit on the water, you can go see the show after and, just have a great way to start your fall season off.
Awesome. Tell me a little bit about kind of how you got into acting and I know that within the Asian community and more especially in the Vietnamese community, it's not necessarily a career path that is considered traditional or quote unquote honorable. So,
well, I would say it's honorable. I would. I do think that it's non-traditional, at least for children of a certain generation of immigrant Vietnamese. My parents came over with the fall of Saigon in 1975, and so that first wave of children that were born after the war in the United States, a lot of us, I think, were encouraged to really feel safe in our careers and not take risks because our parents lost everything.
Right.
But my father was a journalist. My father was a broadcast journalist for Radio Free Asia. And for him, democracy was really important. He fought for democracy in Vietnam. And so the mantra that he kept repeating when we were children was, you need to practice your sense of democracy, whatever freedom means to you. So even if my parents were like, you're not going to be safe necessarily in an arts career, you might not make the money that might make you feel safe. It might be really risky. They didn't frown on it, I think, in the same way that some traditional Asian parents might have frowned on it. I think they were scared for me. I think they were like, it's going to be really hard. We can't support you if you fail at this. I mean, financially and all of that.
Yeah, no, definitely.
But my father certainly believed in the spirit of creativity and the importance of narrative because he's a journalist. And, you know, acting is very much about being able to tell not only your own story, but step into someone else's shoes, a character's shoes, and tell their story. And for me, it's one of the most necessary things right now. I think there's a lot of people who are not practicing empathy. Like I think we all know what empathy is. But I think, you know, given like recent events politically, and also because of the way that society seemed to have like shifted during the recent years of the pandemic and lockdown with all the isolation that happened, I think there's more of a need now for me to be a theater artist, someone who like in live time with a live audience, like really communicates stories in that kind of space that for me feels like, you know, it's the only thing that I want to do. And it's the only thing I think I was built to do. So this goes back to your question of like, oh, how did I get into acting or why do I act? I don't know if I had personally inside a choice per se. I just knew that it was something I was drawn to and that I had to do it. And I still feel that way, you know?
Yeah, definitely. I would say with my background, you know, I come from Greece by way of my mother and, you know, West Africa and, you know, because I'm part Nigerian, I'm part Malian. I have blood relatives in the Western Bantu peoples, which I guess the Congo, like West Congo, I would say. But like for me, it's always been very prevalent that there are certain things that are always kind of frowned upon, like you marry a good Greek boy, you have children, you don't necessarily need to worry about like having a career or anything like that. And I'm glad and happy that my mom at least is very accepting of like my now chosen career path, because for a long time I wasn't totally sure what I actually wanted to do. Like in high school, I was thinking, okay, I'm going to become a lawyer. I'm going to be a cook. I'm going to do interior decorating and design. And now I'm in PR. So it's a lot of different stuff, but it's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, speaking to that, you know, like, you know, that expectation that you talk about, I certainly did feel that pressure from the extended family. And I don't think it was like, it was a gentle pressure. I don't think it was like you have to get married and have kids. But I do think that because Vietnamese society for so long felt like a very gendered society, that the women, the extension of women in my family, I think what they saw as a sense of safety was to be partnered in a marriage and create your own family, and that was just how things were done. And I do think we're like the generation of women in our families, I think, that kind of like break that expectation.
Yeah, no, definitely. Like my brother, I mean, he's now married, but God, for the longest time, I never expected him to like actually get married or have any children. You know, my sister, she's very independent. She's very much settled into her, I guess, financial career, or like, I still don't even know what she does. But yeah, we all have like our own little niches, and you know, we all support each other, and it's a lot of different things, but I think overall we're all pretty good.
Do you feel like Philadelphia has been a city where you could figure things out? Like you talked about,
Oh,
you know,
absolutely.
finding your way and, you know, asking the question, should I be a lawyer? Should I be this? And then finding your way into your current career path.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely. I'd say like in terms of other cities, Philadelphia, it's already so diverse. So just because you have people representing, Europe, Asia, Africa, you have people from India, you have people from like Greece and Italy. You have a very like everybody kind of has a very specific community. Chinatown is very diverse. You know, there's a good amount of Mediterranean cultures being represented. And then, there's a variety of religions and more importantly, food to explore. Like there's always a new restaurant popping up. Like there's a Georgian restaurant that we haven't had a chance to explore yet, but it's Georgian cuisine.
Yeah, I'd
Yeah.
heard about that. Isn't there a new Georgian food stall in the Reading Terminal Market?
There is as well, and then like Reading Terminal, there's a Vietnamese or like Filipino style restaurant. It's directly across from the Head Nut where we go and get like all of our spices. And then there's a Spanish stall like World of Spain or Spain something or other. And then there's always something new going on.
Speaking of the Southeast Asian or Vietnamese stall, have you been to the Southeast Asian food market at FDR Park?
Oh,
It's phenomenal, right?
I know.
It's like a little taste of like every Southeast Asian country, and it's really made by like the aunties and grandmas.
Yeah,
and they're out
it
there every
really,
weekend.
yeah, it really is. We haven't actually had a chance to go this year, but there's a friend of mine and my husband's. Her name is Mink Lynn. She and her partner, she's partnered with a chef, Linda Liu, and they're actually starting up like a really nice community-based organization, but it's centered around food. It's called Humble Bowls. I'm going to be having her on Tiffany's Community Spotlight soon.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like
So,
food brings people together. It's what, like
yeah.
when we think about like culture and, you're talking about the diversity of this city. And I think about the ways like people reach each other, not only through sharing story, but like the stories that come from why a food dish exists or why a food dish is important to them. Right.
Yeah, no, definitely. Yeah, like one of my favorite recipes. It's in a it's in a cookbook that I haven't figured out the title to yet, and it's not published yet. But one of my favorite dishes, at least in the soup chapter, which you'd enjoy it. It's lamb pho.
Oh.
Yeah.
We don't normally make pho with lamb. I mean, we usually like
I
do
know.
beef pho.
Yeah, you do beef
chicken.
or chicken. Sometimes you might see like a seafood-esque style one, although that's really fairly rare.
Well, I
That's
mean, we
really
have
more
seafood
Thai.
soups, but
I mean, that's more like Thai, I would
well, no,
think.
Vietnamese people have like seafood soups, but like if you're
Yeah.
talking like, traditional pho, it tends to be
Yeah,
beef and
or
then chicken. And then like of course we see like tofu, like vegan versions
Yeah.
here, but the
Yeah.
lamb is actually
Yeah.
that's something that I haven't had,
I know. Yeah, it's
or in pho, I should say.
Yeah, it's my favorite recipe. It's like my favorite soup dish because it combines, Asian and more importantly, Vietnamese cuisine, and then just, lamb, the meat of my people.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, it's a 3-day process. First, I'll spend a whole day just making the bone broth because I like to make mine from scratch.
Oh, see,
Yeah.
you've got more patience than me. So.
Yeah, no, I know. And then, like, I am at the same time that you're making the bone broth, I'm marinating the lamb. Generally, I like semi-boneless leg of lamb because it has better fat content and takes very well to like sitting and marinating for longer periods of time. And then like I'll make the bone broth. I'll let the lamb marinate for at least 24 to maybe 48 hours, and then I'll make the combine the bone broth that's already been made, and then the lamb, and then you have the rest of your accoutrements like your vermicelli noodles, and then you have your cilantro, and I like serrano and Fresno peppers.
Oh, yeah.
For my pho, just because it's that needed heat, and then lots of acid. But yeah, it's my favorite soup dish. Although I have a couple of other soups on there, but that one's my favorite.
Yeah,
And I made it this year. Yeah. But
I think, for a Vietnamese lady like me, I mean, I love pho. We grew up making it, but just, it takes so much time these days.
it is.
For me,
'Cause,
it's like,
you need to roast the bones, then you need to you have to roast the bones, you have to save the juices from that. If there's still little bits and pieces of meat on the bones,
well, even more so
better.
than that. I mean, I think, like when you think about cultural cooking, at least, in my family back in the day, it's a group effort, right?
Oh yeah, no,
Like
definitely.
the traditionally the women, but now like it would be like everyone. But it would be a group effort. Like my brothers and I would like pick the mint from the garden and wash it and prep the veggies. My mom would work on something, and then while the pot boils, she could go run an errand if someone stayed home and watched the pot, or and there was kind of a community building or a familial community building that happened when a process took that long. And now I just go to a restaurant and I order like a $12, $15 bowl of pho, and I'm like, okay, that's somebody else's group of aunties in the back are making the soup, and I can taste that, and it's awesome. But I think like with modern day city life, I think it's, for me, I'm like, oh my God, like I wish I had like that patience with myself now, to like go through the slow process of building a bone broth, or like roasting the ginger and the onion that would go into the broth, And I do miss that. I do miss that care and that time it takes to build a recipe.
Yeah.
But I also miss the community building. I miss, I do feel like, right now there's so many ads that we see, right, for different meal kits, for things to shorten the process. And I wonder, and I think about when I was younger and I was like living on my own, and how like lonely it was to like cook by myself, and how I take myself out to restaurants because I wanted to be in a sense of community with other people.
Exactly. Now, I haven't mentioned this yet to my lovely viewers, but Miss B has a dog.
I do. I'm a very proud, happy dog mom. When we talked about this briefly about, like we're part of this generation that some of us are choosing to be pet parents. And Archie Beef Noodle is me and my partner's dog. And Archie is 4.5 years old.
Aww.
And one of the joys of my life. He's a big 100-pound fur boy. And it's great, like I feel like I didn't know I would love being a dog mom so much, but he is so present. And Dave and I were talking about this the other day, it's like Archie will be sad if one of us goes away
Aw.
the whole day, even, or for a trip. But the moment you come back, it's like no time has passed for him.
Yeah.
He's just ready to like be present and like, get riled up over a toy or cuddle with you and watch TV. And there's something about, like being a dog parent or maybe being a parent in general. I'm not a parent, so I can't speak to that. But there's something about being around a living being that you have to care for, that living being is so present. There's no baggage involved with Archie. And it teaches me to like try to like find my presentness and my groundedness in the moment and not take anything for granted. Because, we carry around baggage, right? We like,
Well, yeah.
Something happens in the morning and I'm like, oh, I can't believe that guy said that to me on the bus or whatever it is. You carry it around for a few hours and you're like, ah. But Archie, he might like have a run-in with someone who doesn't like dogs, or he might have a run-in with like a neighborhood stray cat. And seconds later, Archie's a dog. He doesn't remember that moment. He's just on to the next thing. And there's something really like powerful every day when I like, at the end of the day, when like I sip my wine and I like look at Archie, I think to myself, wow, this living being is like teaching me so much about how to be present in a way that, I don't know. I don't know if I would have been able to practice as actively, And sure, we talk about, like, I think, as an actor, you have to be present. As an actor, you're practicing like presence with your scene partner and with the audience. So you stay in the moment and you're grounded and you're breathing the same energy with everyone. But, in the day-to-day life, there's all the stressors that come in. And these past 4.5 years, going on 5 of like Archie, it's been a very fun, a very fun self-realization,
Yeah. Would you say that, I guess because of the pandemic, there's a little bit of a disconnect between like being outside versus, being kind of stuck inside of your place, or like not really wanting to go out and explore different groups or cities?
I think I was very lucky. I was incredibly blessed during the pandemic to have my partner David, who and our dog Archie. And because Archie needs at least 2 walks a day, we were out every day in nature, walking him, taking him to parks, going out and about. And then when lockdown restrictions lifted, I think we very carefully went forth in the world to remind ourselves that the microcosm of our house and our neighborhood wasn't the end all be all of our existence, right?
Yeah, no, definitely.
And I think, like being an artist and being partnered with an artist, we're constantly curious about the world at large, about issues, about places and things and experiences. So having that active curiosity and seeking to engage the curiosity and answer the curiosity, I think that made us right away go, okay, like as soon as it's safe to go anywhere, let's start thinking about travel. Let's think about places to go. And the first, of course, is you want to see the family that you haven't been able to see in a while.
Oh,
and
yeah, no,
it's
definitely.
How do we connect with the friends that we not lost necessarily, but that we might have like minimalized because everyone was focused in their own experience during that time.
Yeah, no, definitely.
Yeah.
And any upcoming travel plans?
I've got a full season of shows. So, like
True.
after Noise is Off, I roll into another show at Arts Theater Company here in Philadelphia. And after that, I'm really excited. In the spring, I roll into a really big, awesome show at the Wilma. So the season is looking a little busy. So if anything, I think next summer will be like the big travel dream.
Nice.
And I don't know what that is yet, but I know I want it to be beautiful, where, water is around me and good wine is flowing aplenty.
Sounds good. Yeah, no, definitely. Yeah, I probably shouldn't mention it to you guys, but my husband, Eric, and I have 2 weeks in Sicily this October. We actually leave Friday, October 6th, the last weekend of your show. Noises off.
Well, you'll have to see my
So-
show before that.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, no, definitely. Would love to go.
Sicily.
Yeah, so we'll be in Sicily for 2 weeks, and then there's like a little side trip to Malta. Super, super excited about that. And then we kind of already have my birthday trip planned for this coming February, but I'll tell you guys a little more about that on another show. But it is going to be super, super awesome. Yeah. And then, we'll be celebrating 5 years being married next October. So it's like, yay, get to start like planning that now.
Congrats and awesome.
Thank
and
you.
That's so exciting that you're going to be able to travel and get in some fall travel abroad.
Yeah, no, definitely. It's something that me and my husband, we enjoy doing. We like to travel, we like to eat, love to drink, cocktails, wine, and it really doesn't matter. It's whatever you put in front of us, pretty much. But this has been really nice.
Thanks, Tiffany, for having me on your podcast.
Thank you for coming on to Tiffany's Community Spotlight. As a reminder, everybody, you can find Tiffany's Community Spotlight wherever you stream on Spotify, on Apple, and anywhere else that you stream on. Thank you all for joining me, and I'll see you all later.